Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the NWA review for the 7/12 22 show review. This edition of Power opened with Billy Corgan hyping the race to the chase. Second, after we opened the show from Nashville, Tennessee, commentary team clarifies that there will be 4 qualifying matches with the winners advancing to the Fatal 4-Way. The winner of the match will challenge the NWA World Champion Trevor Murdoch at the NWA 74 pay-per-view. So there's no tournament. So then we go to Tom Latimer defeating Chris Adonis to advance to the number 1 contender Fatal 4-Way match. Austin Idol joins commentary team, and Velvet Sky isn't happy with this. These two used to be teammates in Strictly Business, and they go at it pretty quickly. Nick Aldis and Camille were also part of that team. Fans are behind both men as they were both babyfaces. Match developed into heel tactics and hard-hitting professional wrestling contest. And then ultimately, Mike Knox is with Kyle Davis, who's trying to understand how he got the bye. Mike Knox gets the bye in the tournament. He said it's because Matt Cardona said he would after relinquishing the title. All members of the Cardona family get something as a result. Knox then runs down Bully Ray after he attacked him, puts him through a table at the Always Ready pay-per-view. He then says he said that he sees Bully everywhere and hates him. I would assume this leads to a match between the two down the line. Kerry Morton with May Valentine is informed that Homicide wants to defend the NWA Junior Heavyweight title against him at the NWA 74. If he's still the champion, Morton's thrilled and says his goal since his dad once held that title. I didn't even know that. Brian Myers defeats DePope to advance into the 4-way. Myers is aligned with Cardona, so that makes sense. Solid match with nothing really notable in it. Myers then gets a close near fall off an Enziguri after a flatliner. Pope then gets a DDT and gets a near fall off that. Myers and Pope basically yell at each other a bit after getting a bit of a breather. Myers gets a double leg and a roll through, holding onto the ropes for the illegal pin and a basic heel tactic there. Gotta grab my phone, so we'll be back in 2 minutes here. We'll be back in just a bit with more right after this. So then we get the overall run of, May Valentine, who I'm sorry is the worst thing on national platform wrestling. I'm sorry, no disparaging her as a person, but her as a wrestling character, I don't get. Anyway, May Valentine with TV champion Tyrus, Black G's, and Jordan Clearwater. She puts over Tyrus's accomplishments and compliments him a lot for an odd reason. G's then says it's about business, and Otis is coming for him. Clearwater then showed off his abs, and, well, this doesn't really work. Kylan King defeats Allison Kay. Allison Kay is a former NWA Women's Champion. And she challenged King challenged Camille for the NWA women's title, and Kay is also a former women's tag team champion here. Competitive throughout, King showing off strength on multiple occasions. King goes to the top rope. Kay springs up with a forearm. Kay is then unsuccessful. The AK-47 Dominator type maneuver hits a half crab and gets on top. King then rallies and hits a Excalibuster pump handle 360, putting Kay on her face, and then hit the pin and win. And then I gotta grab my phone again. We'll be back with more right after this. And again, in simplest form, the post-match promo with Kylan King is exciting because it looks as though they're pushing her towards the idea of defeating one Camille at some point. Davis asks, what's the barrier to getting a shot at the title? She said she's advised by her trainer and Camille's Bully Ray to stay close to the title, and that's in her best interest. Davis also seemed suspicious about advice and told her not to go. He had to go to a break, and he does want to follow up. Trevor Murdoch is with May Valentine, who asks why he got Tim Storm's ban lifted. He answers with a barely audible deal here. He doesn't have any preference who he'd faced. He'd go to hell and back to hold on to the title. Then the final match of the day, Nick Aldis defeats Tim Storm by DQ and advanced to the number one contenders four-way. These two had a rivalry quite a while ago. Both are baby faces. Aldis slapped Storm early, and then there's a beg-off. Good story here, but Idol is distracting on commentary. Storm has a decent rally with Aldis slaps him again. Storm then bypassed a move and then started punching Aldis in the head on the mat. Storm then hits the perfect Storm, black hole slam style maneuver, but Aldis gets his foot under the ropes the last second. Storm then eventually whips into the referee, takes him out, and hits a second perfect Storm, but then there's no ref to make the count. Aldis then slapped him. Storm slapped him back and kicked him low. Ref happened to see it, calls for the DQ. Stupid finish. Anyway, Aldis smiled when it was announced that so that he could convert back to heel, apparently. Anyway, your four-way for the number one contender spot will be Nick Aldis versus Mike Knox versus Brian Myers versus Tom Latimer. Story seems obvious, and obviously Aldis goes back to winning, at least one would assume. Power is always a good show in a lot of ways, even though I don't necessarily agree with all the stories. They have better story logic telling than both of the major national companies. If you look at if you forgive the lower level talent and you forgive the fact that for the most part they don't necessarily have everything in order, they still do better than both of the national companies at this point in terms of logical storytelling. So anyway, we'll be back with more right after this.